I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
They Live is held in very high regard by conspiracists, especially if you're a movie buff like myself. This movie was, or is, The Matrix of the 80s, a film that portrays a sinister hidden reality most people can relate to because they know deep down that something in the world just isn't right. Though the movie often seems cheesy, it nonetheless conveys a strong message about the elite of the world and its utilization of mass media to keep the population under control. The star of the movie, Roddy Piper, was noted on Twitter saying, "They Live is a documentary." This was roughly 2 years before he died in 2015. Of course he was joking, at least a little bit, right? This movie is one of those rare subversive stories that forces viewers to question their world and their surroundings. Because despite the fact that the movie is about ghoulish aliens, it communicates truths to the viewers that are only alluded to in mainstream movies. In fact, looking deeper into the storyline, one might realize that there's probably more science than fiction in this story. Are the aliens in the movie an imaginative way to portray the world's elite, those who secretly run the world, those that we call the Illuminati? Let's revisit this cult classic and see how it describes the hidden rule of the elite. Right from the beginning, as we see Nada walking around Los Angeles with his backpack, the movie sets a particular mood. Something is not quite right. There is a sense of impending doom in the air. Poverty is rampant, helicopters fly all around the city, and street preachers speak of soulless beings that rule the world.
They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful, and they have blinded us to the truth. And our human spirit is corrupted. Why do we worship greed? Because outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners, they have us, they control us, they are our masters. Wake up, they're all about you, all around you.
Is the preacher's description of the masters applicable to the Illuminati? As we follow Nada's aimless drifting across the city, the camera often focuses on people gazing blankly at television screens, mindlessly absorbing the feeble messages it communicates. Regular Joes appear to truly enjoy their television shows, until an obscure organization hacks the airwaves to broadcast subversive messages about the hidden rulers of the world.
Natural looking, easy to apply nails, pre-colored in 7 luscious hues. Just...
Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
Oh, goddamn hacker, that second time night that asshole's cut in.
The movement was begun 8 months ago by a small group of scientists who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent through...
Thing's giving me a headache. Yeah, tell me about it. Us took the hackers months to figure out how to do this.
The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
The average Joes who watch this pirated TV broadcast all get a massive headache. The raw truth is indeed too much for most people to bear. One such viewer switches the channel after telling the guy on TV,
"Blow it out your ass."
Just like today, most people do not want to hear about this kind of stuff. They just want to go back to playing on their phone or mindlessly viewing television. Nada realizes that the street preacher and the man on television are connected through a local church. When he sneaks into the church, he discovers that it's actually the headquarters of an underground organization. On a wall inside the church is written, "They live, we sleep," a phrase that describes the fundamental difference between the elite and the masses. Those in power know the truth about the world and possess the means and power to truly live. The rest of the population is sedated, dumbed down, and manipulated into a zombie-like state in order for it to be easily manageable. Nada learns that the rebellious organization is attempting to recruit people to take down the rulers. However, a few days later, Nada sees just what happens to those who plot against those in power. Helicopters, bulldozers, and police in full riot gear raid the place, destroy everything, and arrest the members of the underground organization. That is how the elite respond to contrary views. After witnessing the violent police shakedown, Nada begins to realize that something is wrong in America. The guy who believed in working hard and following the rules is starting to believe that something is completely out of place here. Determined to learn more, Nada re-enters the church and finds a few interesting things. First, "They live, we sleep" has been painted over. They don't want that message to be known. More importantly, Nada discovers a box full of sunglasses. While the sunglasses appear on the surface to be worthless, they actually provide Nada with the greatest gift of all, the truth. When he has the sunglasses on, Nada sees through the smoke and mirrors projected by advertisement and mass media. He only sees the core of their message and the only reason why they exist. No matter which magazine Nada flips open, he sees the same subliminal messages, which tells a lot about the true function of celebrity and fashion magazines. Despite the fact that they are all different, they all ultimately serve the same purpose, to reinforce messages from the elite to the masses. Nada also quickly understands the truth about money. It brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, "In God we trust." Nada's most shocking discovery concerns the people around him. Some people are not human. They are from another race that has infiltrated society. Nada realizes that they are everywhere and that they hold positions of power, like this politician giving a speech on television. When the aliens realize that Nada can see through their disguise, they immediately alert the authorities, saying,
"I've got one that can see."
Being able to see is obviously frowned upon by the aliens. They do not like to be exposed. Nada quickly becomes a social outcast and aliens start closing in on him.
I don't like this one bit.
Nada and everyone in the city are constantly monitored by flying surveillance cameras that are oddly similar to the new unmanned drones that are currently appearing around the world. Flying surveillance cameras were considered science fiction in 1988. They are now a reality. The concept of truth-seeing sunglasses is an interesting way to illustrate the importance of knowledge in one's worldview. Two people can be looking at the exact same thing, yet perceive two very different realities, depending on the level of information and awareness possessed by each person. Nada's sunglasses can therefore represent one's knowledge of the truth, which allows a clear perception of reality. Upon learning the appalling truth about the world, Nada feels the need to share this vital information with his friend, Frank. Nada, however, quickly realizes that some people do not want to hear about the truth. In fact, many actually get angry and offended at the simple mention of something that alludes to it. When Nada asks Frank to put the sunglasses on so he can see what he sees, Frank firmly refuses and calls him a crazy mother. Nada replies with another classic line.
Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
Followed by one of the longest one-on-one fight scenes I have ever seen in my life. A scene that is dragged out for so long that it becomes utterly absurd and even comical. While the scene maybe appears ridiculous, it says something about the difficulty of making regular average people wake up from their blissful ignorance. Frank finally sees the truth. All it took was Nada to beat the crap out of him, sticking the sunglasses on his face against his will and forcing him to look around. Yes, convincing other people of the truth can be a hard task. The two bros are then invited to a secret meeting of the underground organization that is attempting to rid the Earth of aliens. During the meeting, Nada and Frank are given truth-seeing contact lenses. The sunglasses gave truth-seers a nasty headache, especially when they are taken off. When first exposed to the truth, adapting to the new reality can indeed be difficult and even painful. However, after a while, it becomes a seamless part of a person, a little like wearing contact lenses. Nada and Frank also learn that humans are being recruited by the aliens in exchange for wealth and power. As the leader of the underground organization says,
most of us just sell out right away.
it is rather easy to make a correlation between the movie and the actual politicians and celebrities we've seen in the past who readily sell their soul to the Illuminati in exchange for wealth, power, and celebrity status. However, the meeting doesn't last long as the police barge in and start shooting everyone in there. They are designated as a terrorist organization by the elite. Nada and Frank manage to escape and accidentally find themselves behind enemy lines in the aliens' underground base. While exploring the alien base, Nada and Frank stumble upon a party thrown by the aliens for human collaborators to thank them for their partnership. Although humans will never be considered equals to the aliens, those who sell out to them get monetary benefits, much like those who are not part of today's elite who nevertheless sell out to push the elite's New World Order agenda.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
Frank and Nada then discover the source of the aliens' brainwashing signals, a television studio. The aliens use the network to broadcast hypnotic and subliminal signals to humans, blinding them from the truth about their rulers and the world. This is hardly science fiction. The message that is communicated here is that mass media is the elite's favorite tool to indoctrinate the masses and keep them in servitude. Nada realizes that the only way to save humanity from the grips of the aliens is to go to the roof of the TV station's building to take down the emitter of the subliminal messages, disguised as a satellite dish. Indeed, without an elite-controlled mass media, indoctrinating the masses will be a lot more difficult. So Nada and Frank start shooting their way towards the roof. Not an easy task. Nada met Holly Thompson, a Cable 54 network executive, at the beginning of his wild rampage. While this lady appeared to be nice at first, she tried to mislead, deceive, and even kill Nada during his quest. She ends up shooting his pal Frank in the head. She's the equivalent of a disinformation agent trying to stop any resistance to the established system. While Nada appears to be somewhat enamored with her, she always somehow brings trouble. During the terrorist organization meeting, Holly infiltrated the group posing as a sympathizer and claiming that Cable 54 was clean and not the source of the alien signal, which was false and misleading. Today, disinformation is widely used by the elite to confuse and mislead those who attempt to discover the truth about the world. While Nada rushes towards the roof of the network's building, Holly appears again, claiming that she wants to help him. However, she is simply trying to kill him before the mission is accomplished. She is therefore another human that sold out to the aliens, being used to disrupt non-corrupted humans attempting to liberate themselves and others. Nada manages to take down the alien transmitter and saves humanity, but he ends up being shot dead by a policeman in the process. Nada therefore becomes a quintessential hero, sacrificing his life for the greater good of humanity. Even though it cost his life, Nada visibly does not regret exposing the aliens to the world. With his last ounce of strength, Nada gives the aliens a unique parting gift. Once the aliens' satellite dish is down, the masses are able to see the world as it is. The aliens' ugly faces are exposed to the world. TV viewers all over now realize that those giving the daily news were also those who controlled them. As the years have gone by, this movie's message has become increasingly relevant and freakishly realistic. In the movie, the rulers are portrayed as a completely different race that perceive humans as inferior, something that can easily be correlated to the attitudes of the bloodlines of the Illuminati, or even the Zionist Jews that refer to all non-Jews as Goyim. Working behind the scenes, this secretive elite constantly worked towards a creation of a worldwide system that would serve its interests, a new world order, ruled by a one-world government. To facilitate the ruler's work, the masses are kept in the dark and are distracted with the fake puppet show that is politics, and the no independent thought programming that is the mass media. They Live can indeed be interpreted as a documentary on the thorough and systematic conditioning of human experience in order for a hidden elite to covertly control, manipulate, and exploit the masses.
You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything, the whole goddamn planet. They can do whatever they want.